So remember, a unit fraction is a fraction with a numerator of 1. Write each of the following fractions as a multiple of a unit fraction. Could I have a volunteer to do number 1? Read us the whole equation. Sana, go ahead. Good job.
3/10 is equal to 1/10 times 3.
Good. 1/10 times 3. Excellent. My pen is green, so I'm going to switch it out. How about number 2? Ayla. Oh, Ayla, you know what? We're having trouble hearing you. Can you maybe hang up and rejoin and I'll come to you for a different one? Okay, awesome. Thanks, Ayla. Okay, May, number 2.
5/12 equals 1/12 times 5.
Great. Your unit fraction and your whole number. Libby, number 3. Make sure you unmute. Yep.
There we go.
There we go.
Wait, do I do the... Does it matter which way I go?
Doesn't matter because you can multiply in either order.
9 times 1/5.
Oh, you just...
Oh, wait, no, that's the fourth one.
Okay, so we'll skip, and then I'll come back to Ayla for number 3 because I see she's back now, so we can test if it's working. So, Libby, first you made this 1 4/5 is the same as 9/5, right? Yeah. And then tell us what you did.
And then I did 1/5 since it's 5. The denominator is 5.
Good. 1/5 times 9. Awesome. Good. So that one was a little trickier because it was easier once you made it in proper fraction. Okay, and we're bouncing back to number 3 with Ayla. Let's see if your audio's up now. Go ahead, unmute. Oh, man. We're still having trouble. Ayla, do you mind just typing it into the comments? Thumbs up if you have the comment feature. I don't know why it's not working. Usually once we hang up and rejoin, that helps. Oh, that's a good question. Ayla, do you have headphones on? Huh. Then I don't know why that's not. Yeah, I mean, you were. Yeah, I see you're unmuted. Good. You got it, though. Oh, 1. So this one, the denominator was 6, right? So we'll use 1/6. Sorry, we jumped back to number 3. And then 1/6 times what whole number will get you to 11/6? You're doing a great job on an iPad. I know that's a little trickier. Oh, she's coming back. Help us out, Claire. Unmute.
I did a different way as Ayla.
Okay.
I did 6 times 1/6 equals 6/6 plus 5/6.
Oh, good, Claire. Except these directions wanted a multiple, so they didn't want addition in the equation, just a straight multiple. So to get to 11/6, we do 1/6 times what whole number?
1/6 times 11.
You got it. Okay. Awesome. And I know some girls were taking advantage of the early finishers. That was a creative equation, Claire, but when it wants it as a multiple, we do it this way because this is saying that 11/6 is the 11th multiple of 1/6. And 5/12 is the 5th multiple of 1/12. Okay. Raise your hand if you have any questions about the do now. Okay, now for today's lesson, where we are going to get a chance to multiply some fractions and do it in word problems. So this one said, Allie, hi, welcome back, Ayla, thanks. This one's about Allie's running. 1 lap around the indoor track is 1/8 of a mile. Allie runs 3 laps. How many miles did she run? So the question we have here is, say it with me, how many miles did she run? Now we've read to understand. It's going to be really important that you pay attention. Oh, thanks, Delina. We'll come back to that at the end. Great point. It's going to be really important that you pay attention to what the problem's asking you today. So I like to actually do the multiplication equation with unknown first. Who could tell us what the multiplication equation with unknown would be for this one? Carla.
It would be 1/8 times 3 equals question mark.
Excellent. She represented the problem. She made sure she had her unknown, used multiplication. Okay, now it's going to be a little easier for me to draw a picture. So there's more than one way you could draw a picture, but I'm just going to do a fractions bar. And I'm going to split it. If I know that she did 1/8 3 times, hold up on your fingers. How many pieces would I split this to? How many pieces would I split this into? The denominator, Claire's got it, Cassie's got it, 8, because I had 8 in my denominator. So I'll split this into 8 equal pieces. Split in half. Okay. So now, in the past, right, we've always drawn, if it was times 3, we draw 3 bars and shade in 1/8 of each. And you can absolutely do that. But just another possible way you could do it is I could also just look at all these 1/8 pieces and say, I'm going to use 1, 2, 3 of them. Right? Oops. I froze. Am I back? Okay. So now I can see how many 1/8 pieces, how much of a mile. Type it in the comments. What would your answer be? How much of a mile? Type it in the comments, please. It's going to be a fraction. You got it, Sana. 3/8 of a mile. And Claire, for fractions, it's going to be a little easier to use the comments, although I could tell what you were doing. Good. So now I had my plan. I solved. And does 3/8 of a mile make sense? Does that seem reasonable for what she ran if she ran 1/8 3 times? Yeah. So my answer makes sense. So now, how about this question? If my answer was 3/8, between what 2 whole numbers does it lie? Blank and blank. Type in the comments. You got it, Lila. You got it, Sana. Good. It's bigger than 0, but less than 1 whole. Okay, Lila, did you have a question about that problem? You can unmute. Tell us.
So I have a different way to do it.
Please.
So I would still draw a picture if it said draw a picture, but you can also do you could write it as 3 times 1/8, and then my dad taught me how to do this. But you can either do divide by the denominator or multiply by the numerator. So I like to multiply by the numerator. So I could do 3 times 1 equals 3. So I'd put 3/8. And then I'd think of that as 3 divided by 8. But I know that I can't do that. So I would get 3/8, but it's just a different setup. So the answer would be 3/8 because I can't do 3 divided by 8. But that's just a different way that my dad taught me how to do it, and that's how I like doing it.
I love it. So Lila's saying the shortcut way is, if I had the whole number, I'm just going to multiply that by the numerator and keep my denominator the same. And then this is the same as 3 divided by 8. Lila's exactly right. If it's in the denominator, we're dividing by that. Thanks for sharing that. Awesome. Okay, let's look at another one. Now she's on an outdoor track. Okay, and 1 lap around the outdoor track is 5/8 of a mile. Allie runs 3 laps. How many miles did she run? Say the question with me. How many miles did she run? So we understand what the problem's asking. What would be our multiplication equation here? Hi, Samantha, welcome. I'll just have you watch the beginning of the recording later, okay? What would be our multiplication here to tell us how many miles she ran? Libby?
You would do, doesn't matter which way, 5/8 times 3
Good, and I need an unknown.
times 3 equals question mark
Beautiful.
or R.
Good. So here are two ways you could show that. If we drew a number line, well, first, maybe we'll just do Lila's shortcut way first, just so we have an idea in our head, right? So Lila said, if I have 5/8 times 3, I know I'm really just multiplying the whole number times the numerator and then dividing by the denominator. So 3 times 5 is 15. And 15, oh, hi, Isabella, welcome. We're going to have you watch the rest of the recording later, okay? But you can join in now to understand. So 15 divided by 8, if I were to make that into a mixed number, type it in the comments, what would you get? How many times does 8 go into 15 without going over? It can only, 1 times 8 is 8, but 2 times 8 is 16. That would be too big. Good, 1. So what would this be as a mixed number? 15/8. It's not quite 2, because 2 would be 16 divided by 8. What's 15 divided by 8? Good, Carlum's got it. So 8 goes into 15 one whole times, that would be 8/8, and you still had 7/8 left over. Good job, girls who got that one. We'll keep practicing converting improper fractions to mixed numbers in lessons this week, so don't worry if that was a little tricky. Okay, so I already know that's going to be my answer using Lila's shortcut, but now let's look at it visually. So if I drew 2 holes, or in this case, they drew 3 holes. They were just like, I think it's going to be a little close to 3 miles. Let me draw 3 holes. And then I split them up into 1/8 pieces. Then you can see that if I did 5/8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I put a 1 in all those. 5 more 1/8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put a 2 in all those. And then one more time, 5/8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put a 3 in all of those. You can see it's the same thing we got before, 1 and 7/8. So that could show you visually that 5/8 3 times was enough to fill up 1 hole and have 7/8 extra. Okay, you could also show this on a number line. This number line has 0, 1, or 8/8, and 16/8, which also equals, hold it up on your fingers, 16/8, 16 divided by 8, Ayla's got it, Carlin's got it, 2, right? So this number line goes up to 2, and it shows you that if you jumped 5/8 3 times, 5, 10, 15, that would plant you at 15/8. Okay, so now we'll write our answer, 1 and 7/8 mile. And we made our plan. Libby gave us the equation. We solved it out using Lila's strategy and pictures. And then 1 and 7/8 of a mile. Does that make sense if she ran 5/8 of a mile 3 times? Does it sound reasonable that that would be like a little less than 2 miles? Yeah, I think that makes sense. So we're going to check that off as well. Okay, last little bit, between what whole numbers does your answer lie? Good, Carlum, type it in the comments if you didn't already. 1 and 7/8 is bigger than 1 whole, but less than 2. Good job, ladies. Questions about that word problem? Okay, one last thing I want to show you, because you'll see this on your journal. we knew that on the indoor track, Allie ran 3/8 of a mile, right? We solved that last time. And on the outdoor track, we just solved that she ran 1 7/8. So you will get a question sometimes that asks you to compare. So if I said, which one, yeah, Lila, we'll get to the math message at the end. Thanks for reminding me. If I asked you to say, okay, where did she run more, on the indoor track or on the outdoor track? Would you say indoor or outdoor? You could type it in the comments. Where did she run more, on the indoor track or the outdoor track? Type it in. Where did she run more, indoor track or the outdoor track? On the outdoor track. Very good. And you have to RTQ. Sometimes the question will ask you how much more. So raise your hand if you could set up an equation for us that would tell us how much more she ran on that outdoor track. How much more? Good, Delina. Yep, RTQ. Delina, you want to unmute and tell us how you would solve that?
She ran.
What would your equation be to figure out how much more?
1 7/8 minus 3/8.
Beautiful. And then
She ran.
Fraction first. 7 minus 3. Can you do it?
Yes.
Yep.
4.
4/8. 1 minus 0.
1. So it would be 1 4/8.
So she ran 1 4/8 miles. Thanks, Delina. Okay. Questions about that type of problem? We're going to do a few really quick ones. And then, good equivalent fractions rule, Carla. Could reduce that. We're going to do a few more quick fraction multiplication, then go over the morning math message. So these ones will just go pretty quickly because now we're going to use Lila's shortcut way instead of drawing a picture every time. Delina, make sure you mute, please. So if I had 5 wholes times 2/9, remember Lila's shortcut that you really just have to multiply the whole number by the numerator. So this is going to be 10 divided by 9. And who could reduce that for us into a mixed number? Saina, unmute and tell us.
1 1/10.
Close. 1 and 1. What was your denominator?
9.
Good. 1 whole fit in there, and you still had 1/9 left over. Awesome. Okay, let's try this next one. Type in the comments first your improper fraction. 7 times 11/10. What would you get for your improper fraction? Using Lila's shortcut way. Type it in the comments. You can use the backslash to divide. Good. I'm seeing some answers come in. I'm seeing girls really carefully think about it. Good. 77/10. Ooh, now we know that this is the same thing as 77 divided by 10. So I have to think, how many times could 10 go in without going over? Good. Some girls already converted it really fast. I would say that's 7 wholes because that's 70/10 is 7 wholes. And I still have 7/10 extra. So those ones are the same. Okay, and the last one I'm going to show you, I'm just going to show you this one because we're going to do a ton of these tomorrow, but sometimes you will see a mixed number times a whole number, and in that case, you want to multiply both the whole number and the fraction. So let me show you what I mean. First, I'm going to do 4 times 1 is 4. And then I'm going to do 4 times 2/8, which is what you've just been doing. 4 times 2/8 is 8/8. But my eyes. 4 and 8/8. Oh, I wanna write it that way. It hurts to look at. Type in the comments quickly, fix it for us. Good, Delina. 8/8 equals 1. So what's my final answer gonna be? Phew. Oh, thanks for saying that, girls. 5 holes. Okay, so this one, there'll only be one like that in your journal. We're going to do a lot of those tomorrow in the journal, but I just wanted to preview so you could see it. Any questions about multiplying a whole number by a fraction so far? And then we'll do the math message.